In today's video, I'm going to give you everything you need to start using zkSync Era. zkSync Era is the first Ethereum compatible zk rollup, and already over 200 projects have expressed interest in building on it. Today, I'll show you how to add zkSync Era to your MetaMask wallet, how to bridge to this new chain, and then some of the things you can currently do in DeFi and NFTs on the chain. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. As always, although I'll talk about several cryptocurrencies in this video, I'm not suggesting that you do or do not buy any of them. This is not financial advice. Now, let's get into the video. First, a bit about what exactly zkSync is and why it's so significant. zkSync Era is the first zk EVM, and so we'll break that down into two parts. The first is the zk part. zkSync uses something known as zk rollups to scale Ethereum. And what that means is that it's much faster and cheaper than the Ethereum mainnet while inheriting its security. And most layer 2s that you may have used up till this point, like Arbitrum for example, use something known as optimistic rollups. But Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, has himself stated that he believes that in the mid and long term, zk rollups will in fact win out. But unlike most zk rollups that have existed up until this point, zkSync Era is different in that it's also compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, also known as the EVM. So that's the EVM part here. So you have the zk rollups and you have the EVM. And what makes this significant is that since most zk rollups up to this point weren't compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, applications on them had to be either built from scratch or rebuilt. But if they're compatible with EVM, then you can take any application from Ethereum mainnet and quickly redeploy it onto zkSync Era. And you can see here that their goal ultimately is hyperscalability with an unlimited number of transactions. And since Ethereum has struggled with scalability in the past, this could be a game changer for that network and the world of cryptocurrency. And for a long time, many people thought that it was impossible or would take years to build a zk EVM, but now that it's live, over 200 projects, including industry giants like Chainlink, SushiSwap, Uniswap, and Aave, have expressed an interest in deploying onto zkSync. Now, some of you may be familiar with zkSync because you want a zkSync airdrop. That isn't exactly what this video is about, although if you do the things in this video, you would likely have a good chance of qualifying for an airdrop anyways. However, if that's what you're after, I have an airdrop checklist document that I created, and this includes 9 tasks that you can do on zkSync Lite, that's the old zkSync network, as well as zkSync Era, the new zkSync network, to hopefully qualify yourself for the airdrop. I'll link this down in the description for those of you that are interested. All right, so now that you are ready to start using zkSync Era, the first thing that you need to do is add zkSync to your MetaMask wallet. And the best place I find to add any network to your MetaMask wallet, this makes it really just the matter of clicking a few buttons, is chainlist.org. And you just go up here to the search bar and you can type in zkSync like so, and then click on add to MetaMask. And once your MetaMask is connected to the wallet and you click add, it will literally add it to your wallet that simply. The next thing you'll want to do is bridge funds from Ethereum over to zkSync Era. And the thing with this is there are several bridges. However, although this video isn't about airdrops, I would say that using the zkSync native bridge is not a bad idea, because oftentimes when chains give airdrops, they do give priority to people who use their native bridge. So I'm going to use the native zkSync Era bridge, and you can send ETH or any of these other assets right from the Ethereum mainnet over to zkSync. In this case, I'll send ETH over. So you type in the amount you want to send. I'll send 0.1. You click on deposit, and then you'll be prompted to confirm the MetaMask transaction. Click on confirm. And it's as simple as that. It takes up to 5 minutes, and then the funds appear over on the zkSync Era mainnet. And like Ethereum, you will use that ETH to pay for transaction fees over on zkSync. And once our transaction has been confirmed, we are ready to start using some zkSync and DeFi. If you want to see which projects are available on zkSync DeFi, especially as more launch, because I'm expecting that many more will launch in the upcoming weeks and months, then you can go to defilama.com, go to the chains section here on the left, and then just simply search for zkSync Era. And now we're looking at zkSync Era, not zkSync Lite. zkSync Era is the Ethereum compatible version of zkSync. And here we'll see that right now there are 9 projects. many of them quite small, and most of the ones that have any liquidity are DEXs. So basically what you can do right now on zkSync is you can provide liquidity or you can swap tokens. And so that's what we'll be looking at today. We can see that the three main DEXs are SyncSwap, Mute, and SpaceFi. And SyncSwap is the largest with $13 million in TVL. And if you just go to SyncSwap here, it's basically a Uniswap fork. You can swap between ETH, you can swap between USDC, you can swap between some token known as OT that I've never heard of, and then there are, I'm sure, some others as well that are non-major tokens that you can find. For example, ZK Doge, ZK Inu, I presume those are meme coins. And these ones are quite small, right? They have tiny liquidity. I'm not at all endorsing them. I'm just showing you what's available. And so if you want to use SyncSwap, then you can go here. And for example, some of that ETH that we brought over 0.5 if you remember. Maybe I want to trade some of that for USDC, and I'll be able to do that right on here. The next thing you can do is provide liquidity as you would with any other chain. So you can go here and, for example, ETH USDC, you can provide them in a 50-50 ratio. If you've used DeFi in the past, this is nothing revolutionary, but you can provide liquidity on here and start earning some swap fees from people who are trading on this DEX. And now one interesting thing here is that because there's relatively low liquidity on this chain and a lot of people have been interested in bridging over to zkSync Era, you can see that the volume is extremely high compared to the TVL. And because of this, it's currently running around a 70% APR. Going right down the list of DeFi projects on zkSync Era, we can see that the next one is Mute.io with just over $9 million in TVL, technically $9.6 million. And I would argue that Mute has actually had more anticipation than SyncSwap, and that's possibly because it has its own token. So for many people, this was the largest or only zkSync related token they could invest in. Not suggesting you do, but that is why you may have heard of Mute more than SyncSwap. And if we go over to Mute's website, app.mute.io, we can see here that like the other website, you can swap tokens here. However, they also have some nice pools, and they have USDC wrapped ETH running at around 67%. And like I said before, there is a Mute token, which you can pair with ETH right now and earn around 46%. However, these are not incentivized pools. These are just simply from trading fees of people who are using the platform. So these APYs should fluctuate significantly from day to day. And then continuing on, the third DEX that we'll look at is SpaceFi. And I want to give a caveat that I haven't fully looked into all of these DEXs. I'm just showing you what's available on the chain. And these are small and highly, highly risky. So don't put in any money that you're not willing to lose into any of these DEXs, even if you're just depositing it as liquidity. But if you're interested in swapping, for example, these should get the job done. And if we go to SpaceFi, then we can see here that you can swap a number of tokens. And unlike the other DEXs, and that's the reason I want to show you this, is they actually have active farms. They have a farm for ETH USDC incentivized, which currently has 165% APR. And then they have one for their space token in USDC at 1,254% APR. Obviously, that's extremely high inflation. So when you see that, you always got to be careful about buying this token. Next thing that you may want to do on zkSync, moving on from DeFi, is there is a zkSync name service like Ethereum name services, but for zkSync. They're powered by Layer 0, and here you can actually purchase .zk domain names. Maybe you are all about zkSync and for your social media profiles, or just for sending funds on chain, you want to secure that .zk domain name. And that's app.zkns.domains. And then the final thing that's really available to do on zkSync now, remember this chain did just launch 1 week ago, is there is an NFT marketplace known as Mint Square. If you go here, you can explore, sell, and collect NFTs. And there are already several zkSync collections on here. You can see a lot of them have a theme starting with ZK, ZK Alien, ZK Animals, ZK Ape. And personally, I'm not a huge NFT collector myself, but if you are, you can get a jump start on the NFT ecosystem of zkSync over here on mintsquare.io. And that's everything you need to start using zkSync Era. If you want more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.